right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4, Episode 13. Okay, right. Red Hot Chili Pepper has been defeated.
That's right.
Okuyasu knows who to punch because he punches everyone.
Yeah. When in doubt, guess.
Yeah.
Because the most important thing is to act. Yes, and Joseph's here, and Josuke and him, they're
gonna have bonding time.
Yeah, because Josuke was like, you know what, I could repair the cane, or you know what, no. But of course, Okuyasu didn't quite catch on to that.
But Koichi did.
Koichi did. Yeah, exactly.
So our wholesome boys are going to have a much more wholesome time, yes, and we might have a little bit of a breather in between stand battles. But we were teased and also a little bit terrified.
Yeah, like Act 1's done. Now Act 2, they're bringing back that person with the cut off hands and stuff.
And this is like this. I mean, we mentioned this in the discussion previously, but the fact that the same thing happened twice now with the severed hand, like perfectly severed, it seems a bit like some kind of serial killer type.
Right. It's something it's not just some random thing that was in the first episode. It's like the fact that it's a hand is very particular. Yeah. So we have to figure out what that's all about. So I'm interested to see what Hermit Purple will reveal with their clairvoyant abilities. They can do that now.
And that's really, really helpful here. But Joseph is kind of senile, so
that's true.
We'll have to see what happens. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Ow.
Are the
that was his
visuals
brother.
For this slightly different? No,
it's just it's been a while since we've
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hikaru mystery. Denso no kono machi no doko ka. Kakageto mo JoJo ni yakuran ka iate. Ichigo wo odoru crazy noisy bizarre town. Pick up something dangerous.
Oh yeah, the radio again.
Oh,
right. Okay.
The fact that they're doing this outside, though.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Okay. Good research indeed. Oh no, Koichi, why'd you say that? Banzai! Oh. Nice. He keeps pushing them to be alone so they can have time to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Specifically a certain person.
Well, could you look after someone for me?
Oh, poor guy. Oh, Joseph. Oh. Dang, yeah. I would love a subversion of that, of where it's like, oh, how are you doing, you know? Oh, that hurt him. But you're not my dad. Oh, yeah.
It's understandable.
Yeah, oh, I feel ya. The buff old guy. Long distance bus. Oh no.
They made it a ways.
Oh, the hell.
Yeah, so the cup that got knocked off of the table was also a stand, maybe?
Or the reason why it got knocked off.
Yeah.
Oh. No, he doesn't believe him.
Oh.
A baby?
Okay. Or some kind of small animal?
Yeah, like a lizard. Or no, we see the little... Yeah, it's a baby, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But look at the ground,
Come on, you can see the prints, right?
I mean, maybe he is, you know. He might actually be losing it, though, Jacob. Like,
no.
Oh. The dog can sense it.
Yeah.
Whoa. Nice.
Okay.
So maybe a stand did something to a baby?
Maybe. He's got good balance for an old guy.
Oh. What happened? So it's physical. So it's not. Oh, I have an idea, Jacob.
What?
So remember the hand of the woman's hand? What if the baby is a stand user and it freaked out because its mom was killed? So it turned invisible to hide, basically. Like instinctively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
So this is how they stumble into the whole serial killer storyline. It pooped? No. It pooped, didn't it? Oh! Now it pooped. Now it pooped. There we go. Invisible poop!
Yeah.
Oh no! JoJo's, you're such a weird show. I
hope it ends up getting somehow smeared on Okuyasu and he just goes crazy not knowing what's going on. Oh.
Oh.
Is this the dude?
Well, they intentionally didn't show who it was.
Right, but they showed a hand.
Oh, good point. And that's all we've seen potentially thus far, so okay. Oh no, now he's gonna look like a foreigner that stole a credit card.
And sure. Well, and what if he, like, misplaces it or something? Or...
Yeah. I like this guy. Oh, even work overnight. Oh, oh, that's hilarious! Oh my god, it's so complicated. It's like I just came here to get one thing and now I'm like Yeah.
He's gonna end up spending so much money.
Yeah. Oh my god. He is being taken advantage of. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so hard.
Oh my god, I have no words. This is terrifying. Oh no, Joseph, stop! 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 Look at his cart! 130,000 yen. Oh my god.
$1,300.
Yeah. Oh. He can't do the math.
He doesn't realize how much stuff he got.
They will freak out, that is true. Oh.
Alright.
That's gonna make the eyes extra creepy, but... Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Nice idea!
Because they're trying to like recreate it to look like an actual... That's terrifying.
You know what? That's actually genius. That's actually genius.
They need to put the powder on the rest of the head though. She's going invisible again, yeah. Whoa! Alright.
She's powering up!
Well, and if Joseph gets turned invisible, that could be really bad, because he might not be able to take care of himself either.
Right. Oh.
It's like a field.
Yeah. Okay.
How much you want to bet that person's gonna get turned invisible? Or
I mean,
oh no, they're just gonna see it. Yeah,
like
yeah.
It defies physics, though.
Right. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Crap! This is bad. Oh, because he doesn't know that he was trying to save the...
Wow.
Oh, this is so cool.
Okay. Oh no.
No!
Just...
Oh.
But they should be able to see like a bubble in the water, right?
No, if it's a constant field, no. Because the bubbles would enter the field at some point, so they would never go.
No, I'm not talking about actual bubbles. I'm talking about like an
displacement.
Invisible bubble. Yeah. Because
how could we see something that's invisible? Though?
Because water refracts light, so that's why it reflects and stuff. So they'd see where it doesn't.
Okay. Wait.
What? Whoa.
Joseph, what the hell? What?
I mean, that's an effective idea, but... Oh yeah, have your stand pick it up, yeah.
Now
and
heal him.
Repair. Oh,
Heal
and
him.
Joseph didn't know that his stand can heal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it can have the blood go back inside and everything, too.
Oh. Oh. Okay, so he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. Yeah. Good.
The receipt.
Hey, it was a credit card, so you don't have to pay it immediately. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the baby is still around in the plot.
Yeah, like is the baby going to be a character in the story moving forward, or what?
Well, I think the baby is like we were thinking about, is the clue to start the trail onto the serial killer's deal. Because they intentionally showed a non-character, basically, this episode. They had like, your book, you know, well done. And they're like not showing who it was. Yeah.
So as far as
they just showed like a hand and
right.
Yeah. And then like a purple shirt or something.
I know what hit you when I get to you. Oh, I want you. I don't know if I need you, but ooh, I die to find out. Ooh, I want you. I don't know if I need you, but ooh, I would die to find out.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Cool.
This was a stand user, but not a stand battle.
Right.
I really liked it.
Yeah, and it was a great way to basically have Josuke and Joseph be able to spend some quality time together. You know, figuring out a stand user and all that stuff. And that was fantastic, but at the same time, it seems like it's going to be connected to the main plot of the overarching story, which is this person with the cut off hands.
They do something with the rest of the body. They either like have some kind of wait a minute.
What?
No. Well, no. Basically just the whole invisibility field thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that's the same kind of thing that this baby, basically the idea of the hand being there, and that the only thing that we can see, and so perfectly, it doesn't even seem like it's cut. It's almost like the rest of the body could be invisible.
Possibly, except the things that I would say.
Except there was blood.
There was blood, and the hands were picked up. So it could just be that it was attached to an arm that was invisible. But but I don't know.
Okay. So here's our first initial bit here is that if they're introducing this baby as a relevant plot point that matters in the future, then I'd say we're on the right track. But they don't have to necessarily, because what this did was it brought Joseph into the eyes, into good standing with Josuke.
Yes.
And that's really important because Joseph, as his dad, they have a little bit of an awkward situation. Not only just because of the fact that Joseph is old and left them, but because he, in a lot of ways, carries that legacy of the Joestars within him, being a stand user.
Yes,
and this guy has a really good side to him, cares a lot about others, and doesn't have any reason for Josuke to really hate him outside of what he did when he left, essentially. So there could be that chance for a fresh perspective on that whole thing.
Yeah. And the way that they had the characters split up so that they have to deal with this themselves, that was really good. That worked really well. It didn't feel forced or anything. It makes sense. And all the antics before the actual stand user showed up in a noticeable way.
Right.
That was great. I'm not sure whether they were implying. No, I don't think they were implying that the baby knocked over the cup. Yeah, I think that was Joseph, because it almost seemed like Joseph didn't really move that much to knock over the cup. Like there wasn't contact.
He might have jostled the table.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Because he's a big guy still.
That's true. That is very true. But yeah, the way they handled that was fantastic, and the whole thing of Joseph in the store, getting the baby products, and there being all the different variations and options, and he's just like,
I really wonder. I'm like, does Araki not have any kids? And this is basically this is why having kids is a scam.
No, it's because Araki is a vampire, and much like Joseph, he remembers, the older times,
the simpler times,
when everything was simpler. Exactly. Gotcha. You didn't have 10 billion options for things.
Right. Because every option was a good option, and you didn't have to hear.
And
about
it was sort of a one size
fits
all, and
Right. It is kind of interesting though, because I remember when I worked at a company and I sold phones and stuff. People would just come and say, "I want the best phone," and I'd be like, well, okay, but I need to figure out the best phone for your needs specifically.
Right.
So
are you meaning the one with the best camera?
Or are you meaning the one with the best hardware within it? Are you meaning ones with having certain kinds of software? And they're just like, oh, too many options. Yeah. And it came down to a point where basically, if I gave them actually what they wanted, which was the options to know what phone was the best for the certain ones, they would literally say, just give me a phone that you think works best for me. And it felt almost weird sometimes, because I was like, I better be honest and give them exactly the phone they want, because in some ways this person probably doesn't know the difference actually between one Android phone and the other.
Right.
So there's that whole thing there, and that was hilarious as a gag skit. But I felt really bad for Joseph, as just he's an old guy, he doesn't know any of this crap. Oh man! But starting it off also with the, yes, these work even overnight. I'm asking for diapers for the baby. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
So great. Oh my god. Yes, that was...
That's just how old Joseph is, and...
Because here's the thing. Yes. When you do comedy, skit, gag, stuff, one of the things that I feel like is very important, and I don't know that much about comedy, but I feel one of the things that I feel like is very important is that you don't harp on the same joke for too long.
Right.
Because, if it doesn't hit home, then it doesn't hit home, and then it's like 3 minutes worth of time that's wasted as opposed to like 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But starting it off with that
was perfect.
Wow. Like that,
yeah.
I knew it was like I was so in love with the scene from that point forward. I was just like, all right, let's see what happens.
Whatever happened next.
Exactly. How far is this going to go? And 130,000 yen apparently.
Yep.
Yep. And I love how Joseph was like trying to do the calculations. He's like, okay, 100 yen is about 80 cents. So that means I can't. Whatever. It's probably nothing crazy.
I'm not sure if he said 100 yen was 80 cents or if he said it's 80 yen to the dollar.
I think he said it was about 80 cents.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember what the conversion was, but now I know
this is
that
conversions for back then. So whatever time this is. This is 10 years after the whole thing with part 3. So
it's barely the 2000s. I would say.
I want to say it's like 95. Or was the previous one 95?
I would say it's closer to like
one was
90,
85, right?
I would say it's closer to like 98 or 99. But anyway,
but yeah, it's
Yeah, the cool thing though here is that we have a stand user who was subconsciously using their stand in a way that was just based off of their survival instincts, basically.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about this is that you have this setting right now in JoJo's where people were getting stands because of the stand bow and arrow.
Right.
Now, the thing is, I don't think that
probably not.
I don't think that Okuyasu's brother Keicho would shoot a baby with a stand.
Yeah.
To get a stand, basically. That seems a little bit like maybe not. But one of the things I'm very curious about is this whole thing of the Joestar, bloodline.
Right.
What if the mom or the dad or whatever was shot with the stand bow and arrow a long time ago,
and then their child
ended up with a stand, and it was just a higher likelihood of them gaining a stand because of who their parents were.
Yeah.
So, so the question is that do you think that my presumption was right? They're trying to build up this serial hand collector, with kind of basically showing them by not showing them in this episode, and then having the kid potentially of the woman that was recently killed with the whole shower scene. Having a hand there,
assuming that was the woman, because it probably was. We haven't seen her, seen anything else.
Yeah, it could be anyone. But do you think that this baby connects back to that?
Definitely.
Okay.
My question is what about the radio? Because they'll sometimes have the radio like be talking for like other stand users, that we've seen that like weren't that important. But that was one of the other big things, and maybe this is just me like harping on it too much. But when we first saw this, we're introduced to this person with the whole cutting off the hands thing.
The very beginning of the show.
The radio was there as like that was the only sound that we really got, right? And there was the whole static thing that happened there, and then in this episode, there was the whole thing with the radio talking and the ring and everything, and then the other characters were talking about the story on the radio, and that just seemed like something where it was the fact that it wasn't just like a throwaway like background noise, but it was brought up a second time. Feels like maybe it's important.
I think that while it probably is important contextually, there's probably no way to know actually what it means, because what I see the radio as is basically the atmosphere setter. There's in Devilman Crybaby they have the rappers basically. They are giving exposition, but the Morio radio people they're seemingly just kind of doing this to set the atmosphere. But I think it would be a mistake to not listen to what the radio people are saying, because I could see them I could see them saying something important that we notice rather quickly if we are paying attention.
No, this is okay, this is the connection. The hand that we were shown at the end of last episode
had a ring on it.
And it was with a red gem at the very least.
You're right.
Probably a ruby. So they were talking
and she hasn't responded back to his proposal.
Right.
Because she's dead.
Because she's dead. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Good job, Jacob. Okay. Well done.
So wow. All right, so there was a reason that was connected. Okay, yeah. And that's probably just another way to basically draw attention to what they need attention to be drawn to, just in case the whole person that they're not showing but they are showing wasn't enough.
So my next thing here that I think would be a logical step here is to question why certain people are being killed.
Right.
And because when you have a serial killer and they have some kind of pattern about their killings, meaning this person leaves at least a hand, at least one hand.
And from what we've seen so far, both of the hands were female, right? I believe so. Yeah, because it was the whole thing of like it was some nice lady like cooking food or something like that, and then it's just the hand on the spatula or the frying pan or whatever it was.
It was a different hand. One was a left hand, one was a right hand, so there's nothing there. But okay, if they're potentially women, that's interesting. But my question is, do you think that in this setting, where there could be a lot of stand users that have been just kind of here for a while, that you would have stand users killing other stand users intentionally?
Potentially, especially with what they've established about the stand users being attracted to each other and not necessarily in a positive way, as we saw with with the
Red Hot Chili Pepper?
No. Koichi's crazy stalker lady.
Oh, Yukiko.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there could be something there where this person maybe is specifically going after stand users. I would not be surprised. That would be a way to have them go after the JoBros potentially and have there be some,
but they're
addressing there. But I don't think they're going to do that, because I feel like it's going to be something where the JoBros will need to like find out about this person and track them down. Yeah. Because stand users going after the JoBros, that's what the stand of the week stand users do.
Right.
But the big stand users, like
they've got their own thing going on.
Right. They have their own
Chili Pepper is just gaining money. Like just going around just gathering stuff there.
Well, and also
is smart enough to not actually like go directly encountering the JoBros.
But also Dio, like, because the thing that they said is that there could be the possibility of a stand being more powerful than the world, right?
Right.
So this character is at the very least the Dio replacement in the story for right now. Maybe the Pillarman equivalent or the whatever.
They might be in Act 2, like an act.
That's true.
They could just be first half of the story.
But since they were the first thing shown in this part, it makes me think that they're the overarching villain.
But then we don't have, I would say, necessarily, I don't think they necessarily have to be that strong, because what it could be is it just that they are, like the baby, they're invisible.
Sure.
They don't necessarily have like some kind of evil super broad shoulders.
It's the murder mystery
stuff,
thriller, whatever, where they have to find out who it is and where they are and sure.
Okay, and we do have a clue though. This person is an author. They have written a book. I'm just going to assume that that character being spoken to at the table there by the editor, I believe that was, is the killer. And they had a purple purple magenta sleeve shirt. So that's kind of good to
definitely a JoJo character.
True. That is a classic thing there. But then you have to wonder why they're killing. That's why I brought up the whole stand user thing, is that they're potentially killing them because this is something that I've always kind of wondered when they were going to bring into the whole stand kind of power system thing. Is we now have something that generates stands.
Yes.
What if you had something that
like devoured
stands?
I could see that.
And it fits a little bit with the whole nothing left but a hand.
Yeah.
Basically that they were eaten or something like that.
Sure.
That's a very I would say it's visually
right.
Yeah.
It makes sense on that level. And then also, if they since Dio was a vampire, if they wanted to have this character be sort of the Dio replacement, having them also do something where they consume is kind of at least throwing it along a similar vein. Now, maybe that's too similar and they wouldn't want to do it for that reason, or they do it specifically for that reason.
I think that we're going to get someone that's very different from Dio by the very nature that this is setting up as a murder mystery. Because when you think about like Sherlock, like classic murder mysteries in Sherlock, the perfect foils to Sherlock are always hyper intelligent. Yes. Extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
And while they might have some kind of special thing about them besides their intelligence, I think that given the way we've been dealing with how the stands, I'd say, are a little bit more creative and less OP, I would say, in part 4, I would like to see a stand that's not necessarily that powerful. It's just being wielded by an incredibly intelligent individual.
Right. Yeah, because Dio had charisma and just sort of brute strength.
And that's what Jotaro had in a lot of ways. Exactly. Charisma and brute strength.
Yeah, and I mean, Josuke still does have that, you know.
Right.
Because his stand is pretty dang busted.
But it's also really janky. It's got an ability that has a reality warping.
And most of the stands we've gotten in this part have just been really janky. Like Okuyasu. I mean, it's powerful, granted, but janky. Like just removing things from reality. Like
Red Hot Chili Peppers is actually the least janky of probably the ones we've been given thus far, because it's just electricity and being able to move through electricity. It's like, oh, okay.
And then you have people like Koichi.
Yeah.
And
Koichi's stand has evolved like a Pokemon, like,
and then there's Mr. Chef, whatever his name was, like
yes, Tonio.
Okay, all right,
yeah. And then we have Invisible Baby that must have been so much fun for Araki to draw in the manga. Yeah. Can you imagine being like, all right, I'm gonna draw a tree with like parts of it like warped out, the ground furrowed out,
and the idea that it's. You know, it's not that the stuff is gone, it's just that you can't see it.
You just can't see it.
See inside something. Right. It's that partial invisibility thing. And them putting the makeup on the baby was just, that
was awesome. Then the sunglasses.
And the sunglasses, because they're like, okay, what about the eyes? How do we cover this? Okay.
Oh my God. You know what? This is another like kind of little thematic thing specifically for Joseph, is that Joseph is showing that he would be a good dad. Because of, even though he's senile, and he is kind of a bumbling kind of, old guy, he cares deeply about this kid, who's not his kid.
That's very true.
Because basically he has the empathy and care of, any, wonderful old person that you meet and be like, oh, there's such a little baby. It's so cute. And they instantly are like, I want to show all the love that I have immediately to this wonderful human being, because in some ways I think that they will receive it. They will receive it properly. And I think Josuke is that type of character who will need a little bit of, coming around to the idea of receiving love from his dad,
I just love not just, because there was a lot that was absolutely fantastic this episode, but I love that Joseph did the callback to the other baby stand user.
Yes. That was great.
That was wonderful. That was absolutely wonderful.
And he's like, we'll finally get a nice baby stand user.
Yeah. And the whole invisible poop thing, like, I really thought they were going to do something with that where it, like, I mean, I guess he was like, I already touched my face, but...
Oh, God, no, that just makes me feel sick inside, just thinking about, like, invisible poop accidentally, like, getting on your hands, and then you're like, my hand, like... Who knows where Zahando is going to go,
Or that, like, Joseph would end up, because he's kind of senile, he would forget about it.
Yeah.
And then he would end up, like, someone would come up and he'd clap him on the shoulder or something.
Oh my gosh. Now,
something like that.
Here's something I liked that they did with Joseph, was Joseph, one, he brought back his, oh my God!
Yes!
But, once he sensed that there was a stand user nearby, or a stand or something, he went full alert, hyper-perceptive Joestar.
Right, we've dealt with these things before.
And he can still summon his stand with really good effectiveness. Like, he immediately snatched up the baby away from the dog.
Yeah.
And
what is it?
An
again,
invisible baby.
Araki with dogs. Like, I mean, this one didn't die, but that seemed like a pretty demon dog. Like,
the dog is sensing, like, a predator that, like,
maybe, but it
like
wanted
an invisible thing. Like
sure, yeah, I guess it defies
all logic. It's invisible.
They
dog,
can still smell it. Yeah, and it's just like I'm gonna eat it. Yeah, but it's just like
also the baby was scared. Dogs, when they smell fear, it turns them into a fight or flight mode pretty quickly. Like
sure,
especially if the dog was alone. Because that's the other thing. This dog didn't have anyone there, so it was a stray.
Sure, but they were about to have a dog eat a baby.
I mean,
I know the dog had its reasons probably and everything, and it didn't know that it was a baby. I don't think the dog would have
eaten the baby. I think the dog would have been like,
it looked pretty terrifying.
Back up.
It was pouncing with open gaping maw and sharp teeth.
Sure, all right.
But
back to the whole potential villain here. Uh-huh. They really are, I would say, laying it on thick with the yay, we don't have to, like, it's over,
Uh-huh.
And I'm oh no, what's happening next? Because we almost lost Joseph this episode.
Yeah.
And I can't see that as anything short of a kind of a worrying thing. Is can any of the older Joestars die this part?
I mean,
because now that we've basically gone through Joseph lived through the inexplicable with Dio and all that,
and his
Yeah.
The generation continues.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if Josuke necessarily can die, but since it's not a single point of failure,
right,
I suppose he could.
Yeah, I would say that Joseph is definitely someone that they could have a really heartfelt, like, kind of quiet and just, like dignified, a very like wholesome death, where it's basically I got to reconcile with my my ex-wife and son, and now I don't have anything else I really need to do, so I'm gonna basically
and then Crazy Diamond repairs him and he's like, damn it, what?
Well, that's
I wanted to have a cool send off, but okay.
That also is a very interesting point, because thinking about Crazy Diamond and the idea of aging, how far back can he reset things?
I mean,
like, I'm sure they're not going to go into the thing of like, well, he can reset it back earlier.
Right. Because Joseph goes back to his 17, 18-year-old self. That would be amazing.
There's no way they're going to do that.
There's no way they're going to do that.
But
no way
as JoJo's continues to get crazier and crazier, stuff like that seems to make sense. Also, it would be a way to have Joseph be perpetually immortal and stuff like that. But back to the whole hyper intelligent villain thing. One of the other things that I would say that in those kind of murder mystery type things that brings it up as being a thing is you need some kind of a trail to go on, right?
Yes.
Or this is the other thing, you need to have something hit the main character to where they actively begin searching for them instead of reactively searching for them.
Sure.
Because I don't know which one they're going to do here. I would say this is more of a reactive sense, since the baby could be a connection to it, but it's so indirect that it's like...
Well, yeah, it could be it could be something like they don't have to necessarily be looking for the same stand user, like one stand user at a time.
Right.
They could find out something about it and they're like, oh man, this must be the work of an enemy stand.
Right.
And then they're like, we need to find them, but okay, it's tough. And then they, and they basically just trickle that over the course of the story, and they deal with other stand users along the way and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, kind of like what they did with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if this is a short-term character and we've built them up to be too much too soon, because they could just do the next episodes being a part 1, part 2 of this character and stuff.
I don't think so though.
But if they don't, then I am curious and excited to see how they could actually have, because that's the thing, the JoJo's formula is that there's always one big bad evil guy, essentially.
Right.
And like we've never had that kind of a situation, like we've never had this kind of a situation like this in other JoJo parts and stuff. So like it's almost bombastic and stupid in a lot of ways how evil all the previous, villains have been.
Sure.
That if we have someone that's just kind of quietly going around doing their thing, like that's in some ways more terrifying.
Oh yeah, because it could be anywhere.
But it's a thing of, I don't know how you thread that through the typical stand of the week formula.
Right. Like, I think it's just that you don't deal with it all right away. You have other stuff in there too.
So
or you could have it be like a serious cat and mouse game. Like I don't know if like Araki would be able to pull that off, because that's definitely a different style than he's used to.
It just seems far too linear. Like,
sure,
not even that JoJo's isn't linear. Like, I'm using too many double negatives here. JoJo's is totally linear. The thing is, though, is that in order to break up the linear story, they have these episodic little one-off things. And this was an example of where they're like, hey, we can do episodic and potentially tease you with linear, but I don't know how long they'd be able to keep that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Without actually having them, either encounter, the stand user, or have to have basically other stand users affiliated with them or something. And it just seems like both of those things don't seem like what they're going to do.
I think what we've seen so far with the first third of this part is kind of indicative of what the rest of the part will be like.
Okay.
Even if the actual specific characters and details are switched up here and there.
Okay.
Because with this part, Araki really did learn from part 3 that there is such a thing as too linear, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. But, again, who knows?
Sure. Okay. So instead of having it be the adventure, the exploration of this town, essentially,
because that's
is
still
the story.
there, even if they need to figure out who this villain is.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, I think that brings out the slice of life elements a lot more, and that's a lot of fun.
And indeed, I mean, hey, we can still have plenty more high school episodes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to discuss, but I'm really excited about the idea of this all being connected in some ways.
Yeah, and
I think that would make this one of the first JoJo parts that I would want to like rewatch with like some actual intent, because I think the other JoJo parts, I rewatch specific parts specifically.
Sure.
Like specific things within it. But if this one has some kind of threaded narrative all the way through the, 39 episodes or something, like that.
I think it ends up being like 3 core.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. One of the things I was very surprised by is that they didn't seem to hand off the baby to anyone else as far as resolving its plot line. So is this baby going to be a potentially recurring side character sort of thing? I don't know.
The more we've talked about it, it probably will.
In the same way as like the other stand users that are still alive and still around in the town. But like a baby, I mean, it's dependent. Like, what are they gonna do? And like, the baby can't talk, so
and they can't just hand it off to Josuke's mom because it's invisible.
Right. I mean, she's a badass. I'm sure she could handle it, but
she didn't ask for a baby.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. Hey, there's a catch-all research foundation for weird things and stuff where. Oh, wait, we don't know what to deal with this? Send it to the Speedwagon
So they end up having like a Speedwagon school for like stand users.
For gifted?
For the gifted,
I'd like to talk to you about a wonderful school for gifted
and
youngsters.
we see this cybernetic Speedwagon, and it's like, it was actually a lie. He didn't die of old age.
A bald cybernetic Speedwagon that wheels in on a wheelchair and just kind of has this like telepathic stand or whatever that they've developed.
Oh yeah, that would be wonderful.
God. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about stories or just hang out in general and chat about whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.